I think it's about time we admit that Alex Pereira's light heavyweight title reign, or his run in the UFC in general, wasn't as impressive as people make it out to be. So let's go through the reasons why many people think that Alex Pereira's time in the UFC was never really that good. Don't get me wrong, while Pereira is an incredible fighter and he practically carried 2024 by fighting 3 times and saving UFC 303 and 307 while stepping in on short notice, majority of his title defenses at light heavyweight were against fighters that were all coming off of horrible injuries or against fighters that didn't even deserve a title shot at all. After winning the light heavyweight belt at UFC 275 in 2022, Jiri Prochazka went on to get what Dana called the worst injury he's ever seen, leading to Jiri vacating his belt and sitting out for an entire year before fighting Alex Pereira as his return fight, leading to him getting knocked out. And it's pretty much the same story with Jamal Hill. The only difference is that Jamal shouldn't have even counted as a title defense for Pereira, but he's still another fighter that came off of a horrible injury, sat out inactive for a year, and came back to fight Pereira for this comeback fight, only to get knocked out. And while I still think that Khalil Roundtree put up an incredible fight against Pereira at UFC 307, Roundtree should have never been near a title shot at that time, considering he was the number 8th ranked in the light heavyweight division, and he still somehow managed to nearly beat Pereira for a few rounds, showing some fans that Pereira's style might not be as effective as people thought it was. But one of the biggest arguments I've seen people make is that Alex Pereira ducked JYDNLive for 3 years. After winning the belt at UFC 295, the next fight should have been against JYDNLive since he was the rightful #1 contender and was on a huge win streak. But yet for UFC 300, they booked Jamal Hill coming off of a nasty ACL injury, with Pereira claiming that Ankalaev kept using Ramadan as an excuse, and that back and forth will continue to go on for the next few years until they finally fought each other at UFC 313 in March, where Ankalaev controlled majority of the fight, keeping Alex on the back foot due to the threat of him shooting for a takedown, reminding fans why Pereira never fought wrestlers during his time as champ. And again, this video isn't really to hate on Alex Pereira or say that he was never good, but I am saying that his run at light heavyweight isn't as impressive as some of his fans make it out to be. And while almost all of his wins are against former champions, Strickland and Jamal Hill had no right being champion. Jiri Prochazka lost to an old man Glover and got severely injured before fighting Alex. Adesanya knocked out Pereira in their last fight and he was winning majority of the rounds in their first fight. Khalil Roundtree somehow almost flash KO'd him, and Jan Blachowicz arguably beat him in their fight. But what do you guys think? Am I reaching when it comes to Pereira's UFC record? Or do you agree with the fact that the UFC may have been protecting Pereira from dangerous fights so they could promote him more as a star?